Hey, what's happening, and welcome back to another Spiritual Soul video. Uh, I've got something pretty important I want you to tell you. If you're not strong-minded and can't take things in, I suggest don't watch this video. And it's pretty, you gotta be pretty, be able to not fucking take it in so much. This video is pretty disturbing, but I believe everyone needs to know it. But it can ruin some big plans that, whatever you're planning on doing in life, so. Yeah, so I'll let you just watch it, and yeah.
What I'm going to share tonight is going to ruin some very big plans if it's taken seriously. So what I'm telling you is extraordinarily dangerous. This is, if you were to rank this on a scale of 1 to 10 of sensitive, compartmented intelligence information, this is as high as it goes, 10. I was told my wife, my children, my grandchildren would be killed along with me if I ever mentioned this. This was all planned and known with malice aforethought, and it's all a lie. And they know about it, but they're not telling you because they want to keep you in the dark. This gets into some issues that are going to make me very unpopular to some folks. I don't care. And we don't have time for that. I don't care if you like me, love me, hate me. You've got to know the truth on this. I want to be really clear that when this I'm sharing is, I would not do it if I didn't think it could be avoided. I would just keep my mouth shut and retire.
What I want to share tonight is personally very difficult. And the reason it is that this issue and this presentation will be the most difficult one I've done in 26 years. I'm accustomed to giving folks bad news. So this is very, very bad news. And I'm not saying that to be at all melodramatic. I'm telling you what the truth is. And the only reason I'm doing this is that there have been information coming in, pinging my system, indicating that we're getting closer to the hoaxing of events to stampede the world into something that would make them look like a picnic. And there are a number of signs that have been mounting on this issue over the last 6 to 9 months. And I'm gravely concerned about it. My philosophy has always been an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Because if we can do what we should tonight and get the word out about this, there's a chance we can avoid what I'm going to be discussing. So it's a bit like if you were to tell someone they have some signs for a massive heart attack and it's imminent, and you can do some things right now, prevent it. You can ignore it and have it and have a code blue where the heart stops and you have to be resuscitated. My goal here, using that medical analogy a little further, is to avoid the attack. And in this case, it would not be a medical emergency. It would be a national security and global emergency orchestrated by people who have been planning this since the 1950s. So what I'm going to be discussing is what in the parlance of the Pentagon, CIA, counterintelligence programs is known as a false INW, or a deceptive INW, or indication and warning. And some years ago, I had a meeting with the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, and General Patrick Hughes, and the focus of that briefing, which was quite extensive, was to give him information so that he would not be deceived in the event of a false or deceptive INW, indication and warning. And so you have people who often, you would think, who would have knowledge of these issues. And it turns out they do not. And then there are other people who should have nothing to do with something this sensitive, who are running the projects outside constitutional oversight of the president, the Congress, and their appointees, and of we, the people, most importantly. I want to be really clear that when this I'm sharing is, I would not do it if I didn't think it could be avoided. I would just keep my mouth shut and retire. I think we can avert this. I think that we can avoid the heart attack, as it were, and using the analogy I used earlier. And that's why I'm standing here before you. Otherwise, I would have given up on this in 1994 when I first learned about all of these issues. I have a gentleman who was the third highest ranking man at the Naval Research Labs, who prior to in the Vice President's office saw the plans prior to it occurring. He's deceased, since I'm talking about it now. I didn't talk about it for years. And he was told, I used to stay at my home. And he said, look, I was told my wife and my children and my grandchildren would be killed along with me if I ever mentioned this. Now, the mother lode, the sort of the crown jewel of that kind of event is what has been planned assiduously since the 1950s. And that is a threat that would unite the world around a military junta, militarism, that would put all of humanity together, but against one or more extraterrestrial races. Everyone thought, well, we're going to learn that lesson in Vietnam. We forgot it. And we had Iraq. And we forgot it. So they let a certain amount of time goes by, the population becomes complacent, we have a very short-term memory on such things, and then they move another one forward. Now that plan, which they came up with in the 1950s, has been very carefully rolled out. And I was asked today by a gentleman I was meeting with, he says, when do you think they might do this? I say they began in 1950 something. It's already happened. It's already happened. The false flag has already happened. Now, not the crescendo moment, not the final act, all right? But acts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, have already transpired. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, these operations figured out that the psychological warfare value of the subject was such that they could set up events that are completely hoaxed, beginning in the 50s and 60s, that would convince people that those events were of extraterrestrial origin, alien, when they were not. And so blur the lines between the actual ET activity and the human stagecraft, as it's called, that most people, including people at the White House, wouldn't know the difference. The problem is certainly not UFO subculture, and certainly not the media. No one in government I know, for the most part, has a clue. Even mid-level people, functionaries, within the majority intelligence community, MAGIC, M-A-J-I-C, that runs these operations, do not know about this. This is why Admiral Roscoe Hillenkoetter, the first CIA director when it was formed in 1937, took the place of the OSS, said in a letter that the secrecy surrounding UFOs was a threat to the national security. This is why Eisenhower said the secrecy, unwarranted secrecy is what he said, it could be a threat to our democracy and our way of life. And they were referring to this dynamic. But the problem is, in that vacuum of secrecy, extreme, illegal, unacknowledged special access projects, which is what they're called, at a compartmented level, And I was talking to a gentleman today about this. At least 21 levels, compartments, past the level of the president. 21 levels. That you have a permanent infrastructure that has evolved or spun off from the legitimate government, but that is embedded within the corporate sector, the intelligence community, and the military sector, that has run amok viciously of our liberties and our freedoms. And we'll get into this also. This gets into some issues that are going to make me very unpopular with some folks. I don't care. And we don't have time for that. I don't care if you like me, love me, hate me. People got to know the truth on
this. There you have it, people. Leave a like and just, not a like and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought about the video. Tell me if it helped you with anything. And yeah, thanks for watching again. Spiritual Soul signing out. Peace.